Wildfires chase Norman residents from their homes, earthquakes rattle the Sooner State, and National Merit Scholars love OU a lot. This is OU Nightly.
Large wildfires near Lake Thunderbird have forced emergency responders to evacuate residents from the area.
Firefighters from Norman, Little Lacs, and Slaughterville are battling the blaze on the north side of the lake. Wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour have fanned the flames and sent a huge plume of smoke into the sky. Thick winter dry vegetation is making fires hard to get under control, and as it moves north, the blaze has hit heavily wooded stretches of countryside, making matters worse. OU Nightly's Jordan Overton.
And Leah, can you tell us why these conditions are happening?
Thanks, guys. As you can see, we do have a red flag warning that is in effect. The fire that is happening currently in Norman is not showing up on this map just yet, but as you can see, there's a lot of fires around the area. Those are shaded in red. But if we take a look at the radar, we do see where this is happening right here along Lake Thunderbird. You see those little splotches popping up of red. That is where the fire is currently happening. So we do have an evacuation zone between Franklin and 149th Street. If you are anywhere in that area or close to the surrounding areas, you will want to evacuate just to be on the safe side. Now, why is this happening? We have some really low humidity values that's making the conditions really dry. On top of that, we do have those strong wind gusts that are coming, and that is just blowing these fires around and is going to cause them to spread anymore. So a combination of this really low humidity and these gusty winds is what is causing the temperatures to be really high today. And so we're going to see this continuous dry weather. We do have some high fire dangers. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more in Maine weather, and then I'll show you if we're going to get some relief from all this fire in the next couple of days. Back to you guys at the desk.
Western Oklahoma was shaken up Thursday after experiencing 3 earthquakes within 10 hours. According to the United States Geological Survey, all quakes originated about 15 miles east-northeast of Moreland, Oklahoma. About 18 hours ago, a 2.9 magnitude quake struck. The day before, 2 3.3 magnitude earthquakes. And in case you're keeping score at home, there were 2 earthquakes in the past 24 hours, 16 quakes in the past 7 days, 91 quakes in the past 30 days, and 1,532 earthquakes in the past 365 days.
Oklahoma is at the epicenter of a new map showing damage potential from natural and induced earthquakes. The 2017 U.S. Geological Survey Earthquake Forecast Map indicates a high chance for damaging earthquakes in central and north central Oklahoma. Last year, Oklahoma had the largest earthquake ever recorded in state history. Dr. Harvey says there's still a chance for more damaging earthquakes this year.
The new model actually doesn't even show that much of a decrease in the probability of damage. As we saw, we had their biggest event to date, the 5.8 last year, and if we had an event that size in a city center, there would probably be more damage like we saw in Cushing.
Still ahead on OU Nightly, after 10 years of bulking, a real ID in Oklahoma is real.
Plus, and once again, OU chants, we're number 1.
Live from Lake Thunderbird, we have our very own Jordan Overton here with the latest on the wildfires. Jordan, what's happening?
Yeah, that's right, guys. So we did just get a briefing from the fire chief just a few minutes ago who just gave us some information. The fire broke out around 1:20 this afternoon. We are near the area just near north of Lake Thunderbird. We're actually at the intersection of Indian Hills and 120th East Avenue. They have evacuated portions of this area. They've had about 100 people that have evacuated. So far, everyone has been cooperative in the evacuations. Right now, they currently have a Norman Fire Department, the Moore Fire Department. They also have the Oklahoma City Fire Department, the Oklahoma Forestry Services, and also air support out here assisting with this fire. The air support, they've said, is mainly for the wooded areas. This is a very wooded area, and so the vehicles cannot get to, and so they've been using the air support for that. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. They'll be giving out more information in the next few hours to maybe find out the cause of the fire, so that's still under investigation for now. And the evacuations, again, are just around 108th and 120th North Franklin Road. So that area right there is the evacuation area as of right now. Reporting live, Jordan Overton, OU Nightly.
OU Nightly's Tori Johnson joins us now from the News Center with the latest on the recent bomb threats in the Jewish community centers. Tori?
Sydney, federal authorities arrested a former reporter in St. Louis in relation to a series of bomb threats made to various Jewish institutions. More than 100 threats recently have rattled the Jewish community, but no arrests until now. Police say 31-year-old Juan Thompson called and emailed 8 bomb threats in an effort to frame his ex-girlfriend. And protesters gathered today outside the Justice Department calling for Attorney General Jeff Sessions' resignation. This follows Sessions' failure to testify he had contact with Russian officials during the campaign. Sessions met twice with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. That's the same Russian diplomat involved in forcing General Michael Flynn to resign. And called them the odd couple, but George W. Bush and Michelle Obama have become fast friends, which has come as a shock to many. Bush said the friendship flourished because the former First Lady thought he was funny. The two have been seen hanging out and laughing together at events. And Sydney, a Mexican lawmaker took a shot at President Donald Trump by climbing the border wall. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Tori. Norman drivers should expect reduced speed limits and temporary roadblocks as overhead bridge work begins. The southbound I-35 on and off ramp from Main Street to Lindsay Street will be closed while southbound I-35 is narrowed to 1 lane. This construction will create temporary roadblocks from 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. Thursday through Saturday. The Lindsay Street Bridge on-ramps will remain closed through spring 2017. Still ahead on OU Nightly, how you can order a pizza with a pair of sneakers.
Welcome back to OU Nightly, guys. We are going to be looking live at a second at This is a current look at our fire tracker. We do have fires burning currently around Lake Thunderbird, just north of the lake between Franklin Road and Southeast 149th Street. This is where the fire was spotted on radar. Right here, as we advance forward a little bit, you can kind of see it popping up. That is the fire that is currently burning. If you are in that area, you will want to evacuate just to be on the safe side. So this is, again, north of Lake Thunderbird. If you're in this fire area, you definitely should evacuate. So all this is happening because we do have some really dry conditions. We have a red flag warning because of those dry conditions. The fires in Norman are not popping up yet. This is a radar image that we pulled. All these red around this area. That is where the fires are burning right now. This pink is showing you where this red flag warning is happening. And again, it's because we have these really dry conditions. We have current relative humidity, 15%. That is very low, making conditions very favorable. On top of that, we have these strong gusty winds that are coming from the south. Those are going to be burning those fires around in this area that is just north of Lake Thunderbird. So current temperatures, it is really warm outside today. We're looking at generally in the upper 60s all across the board. Our future forecast, we do have some rain in the future coming in towards Saturday and Sunday. We are going to see those rain chances increase just a little bit. The lows tonight, we're going to be dropping down to the 40s. It's going to be a very nice night out tonight, which is about normal for this time, a little bit above normal actually for this time of year for those temperatures this evening. Looking ahead at our evening planner, as you get towards midnight, we are going to cool down just a little bit. Those winds will be increasing this evening. Day planner tomorrow, we're going to warm up as you get to 4 p.m. And then highs tomorrow generally in the 60s all across the state. As you get into your 7-day forecast, we do see those rain chances on Sunday. The rest of the week, we're going to be drying out, but those temperatures will be increasing next week.
Okay, thank you, Leah. I hope those wildfires clear up really soon.
Yeah, same here.
Pizza Hut has a new fun way to order your pizza.
Pie tops are sneakers that order up food by pressing a button on the shoe's tongue. Bluetooth and technology and geolocation lets Pizza Hut know where to deliver the pies. The 64 limited edition shoes are designed to coincide with March Madness and the same number of teams in the basketball tournament. And speaking of basketball, I guess we can see what the weather or the sports has for us.
Definitely, but that's it for Friday night news. Don't leave just yet. Big Friday Sports is on deck.
Our sports team gives you an extended look at what's happening in sports. Carson Williams is here with more.
Thanks, guys. Action-packed weekend in Sooner sports. Plus, we'll have a live look at softball's home opener right now against Northwestern State. Don't go anywhere. Big Friday Sports is next.
Friday Sports. I'm Madeline Roberts and he's Carson Williams.
That's right. We've got a jam-packed lineup today. Men's and women's hoops in action this weekend. Baseball looks to continue its hot streak, and an update on the NFL Combine. But we begin with the defending Natty champ OU women's softball team that's in action in the team's home opener right now. Blakely Durham is standing by with more. Blakely?
Thank you, guys. I am live here at Marita Hines Ballpark where the softball team is kicking off their home season today against Northwestern State. This team came in very highly ranked at #1 at the beginning of the season, and they seemed like the clear favorites to win another national championship. And last year's journey to the World Series and championship is fueling this team into this season.
Last year's championship was one for the history books.
I don't think there's really quite the words to put into the feeling it was, but I just remember like nothing was really running through your head, like all the practices we had, all the late nights, all the early mornings, none of that really mattered in that moment. It was just like pure happiness.
With most of the team returning this year, some people may be expecting a repeat.
I think we all have those feelings of pressure or having to show people that we can do it, but it's a great way for us to learn and for us to come together as a team.
I mean, I think some people might think that because everyone's like, oh, you have to do it, you have to repeat. But I mean, we're just like staying like in our process, kind of just like, we're not thinking about that right now.
So far, this team has only played on the road, with their record standing at 10-4. But the toughest part about those 4 losses is they've all been decided by just one run.
It hurt a lot of us. We were really disappointed, but it made us hungry and want us to work for more and not to get beat like that again.
We're like, no more losing by 1 run. I mean, we can't help, like we can't predict that. So like, we are trying to play a complete game from 1 to 7.
We're still working on, I guess, playing as a whole. It's not going to come perfect the first few games, but we're getting there.
Although it's still very early on in the season, a repeat will always be in the back of this team's mind.
I think we just try to take it game to game, but of course the girls that have been there and even the freshmen seeing their teammates play in the World Series, it gets you excited, makes you want to be there again.
And there's no doubt this team has a long season ahead of them, and they are filled with talent, so I know Sooner fans will be anxious to see where they end up as the rest of the season moves on. Right now, we are in the top of the 3rd inning in this game here, still tied at 0, and we'll let you know more about the score on that one. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Blakely. It's finally time for one of my favorite sporting events of the year, college basketball. The number 19 OU women's basketball team is a 3 seed in this year's Phillips 66 Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship, which will be played today through Monday at Chesapeake Energy Arena. The Sooners have a first-round bye and will not play tonight. Their first game is tomorrow against West Virginia at 8:30 p.m.
We saw in the Big 12 there was a lot of close games, and so it could be anybody's game. But it's encouraging too because I mean that's what you want it to be. You don't want it to be a tournament where they're going to go out and you already know who's going to win, like some of the conferences. So it's going to be fun.
From Sherry Cole and the women to Lon Kruger and the men, the home and season finale tomorrow as Oklahoma takes on TCU at 2 o'clock. Before the game, Jordan Woodard, CJ Cole, and Daniel Harper will be recognized during the Senior Day festivities. Loss would give OU its first 20-loss season in program history and the first 8-loss home record since 1962.
And the OU baseball team is back in action this weekend as they continue their 19-game homestand to start the season. OU will play a 4-game series with Central Connecticut State. The 9-1 Sooners are riding an 8-game win streak after Tuesday's win over Arkansas Little Rock. Oklahoma as a team is hitting .329, and holding opponents to a .194 average. The Sooners have benefited from clutch hitting so far this season.
If you look at the short little sample size that this season's given you, we've been pretty productive with 2 outs, and I'd be curious to see what our 2-out average is and how many 2-out RBIs we have this year, and it's pretty high compared to where we were after 10 games last year.
Wow, Carson, do you realize how busy we are covering OU sports this time of year?
Exactly. You mean like OU has a top-rated men's and women's gymnastics team in the country. We're 5 minutes into the show and haven't even mentioned them yet. That kind of busy? Well, the waiting is over. A big showdown out west as the top-ranked men's gym squad takes on second-ranked Stanford. These top two are pretty familiar with each other, having faced off 3 times As the top 2 teams in the country last season, the Sooners took all 3 meets and have won 13 straight games against the Cardinal since January 2013.
And the women's team heads to Michigan to take on the number 11 Wolverines. OU still holds the top spot as the number 1 team in the nation after defeating Texas Women's University last weekend. The Sooners lead the nation in average score on meets away from home. Look for this trend to continue tomorrow in Ann Arbor.
The 18th ranked OU wrestling squad in Tulsa this weekend, competing in the Big 12 championships at the BOK Center. Oklahoma is going for its 24th conference title and first since 2002. Last season, the Sooners took runner-up honors behind Oklahoma State.
And the OU rowing team will be in action tomorrow in Oklahoma City. The team will scrimmage with Kansas State and Minnesota. The Sooners are preparing for their spring slate, which begins on Saturday, March 25th in Austin, Texas for the Longhorn Invitational. And the number 4 men's team, tennis team, heads to Columbus on Sunday to take on number 1 ranked Ohio State. The Buckeyes defeated the Sooners 4-0 when the 2 teams met in February, but the Sooners have won 3 straight since then and will look to hand the Buckeyes their second loss of the season.
Riding a 4-match win streak, the Oklahoma women's tennis team is back in action at home tomorrow against Wichita State, looking to push that streak to 5. This is the final match before conference play kicks off on Friday against Baylor.
Still to come on Big Friday Sports, the Thunder took on the Trailblazers last night in a close one.
And a familiar face impressed at the NFL Combine. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. Those of you who watch us regularly know we like to have some fun on the show.
That's right, but sometimes the sports world forces us to get serious, as it did last week when Sooners star quarterback Baker Mayfield was arrested in Arkansas.
I'm sure most of you know the story. 4 charges, including public intoxication.
And earlier this week, the Heisman finalist released a statement of apology.
In the statement, Mayfield apologized for what he called the biggest mistake of his life. It remains to be seen what kind of punishment Mayfield will face during the season. Personally, I think he should be suspended for maybe the first half of OU's season opener against UTEP. After the whole mess with Joe Mixon, I think OU football needs to send a message about not tolerating players' bad behavior.
I'm torn on this topic. On one hand, it doesn't reflect well on Mayfield, the team, or the university, but he made a harmless bonehead college mistake. But as a Heisman finalist and team captain, Mayfield is held to a higher standard, and that's the reality of it. His apology was well thought out, and he'll reap the consequences in the coming weeks, but more needs to happen. I would like to see his captainship revoked or sit him out the first half of the home opener against UTEP, Madeline, like you said, breaking his streak of games started. It would serve Stoops and the team well to make a statement by cracking down on the face of the team and, to some, the face of college football.
And the OKC Thunder came up short last night against the Trailblazers in Portland. The Thunder had won 4 in a row and kept it close the entire game. Russell Westbrook, while he didn't have a triple-double, had a monster game, scoring 45 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. And new Thunder teammate Taj Gibson added 15 points and 6 rebounds off the bench, and he also hit a crazy shot at the buzzer to end the first half that honestly, in my opinion, should have counted for more than 3 points. The game came down to the wire, but the Blazers escaped with the win. The Thunder will look to get back on track as they play the Suns tonight in Phoenix.
A day after pumping out 30 reps on the bench press at the NFL Combine, which is roughly about how many I probably would have gotten if I had been invited, former Sooner star Samaje Perine cranked out a 4.6, 640 time today in Indy. LSU's Leonard Fournette busted out a 4.51, and Bama O-lineman Cam Robinson jolted for a 5.15, which is about what I ran in high school. Now taking calls from NFL GMs to sign me as a free agent. Why not? If there's one thing, that I love, Madeline, it's a good comeback story, right?
Me too, yeah. But honestly, what I'm looking forward to most is to see where Samaje Perine lands in the draft. I would love to see him on a good team, but if he's doing so well at the Combine, I think he's going to go pretty early and might be, maybe on the Browns or one of those not as good teams.
Yeah,
but I think wherever he goes, he'll be happy and
30
he'll
reps,
succeed.
30 reps for a running back is big for him.
That's crazy high.
Decent 40 time, so I think he could land somewhere nice.
Me too, yeah.
So, and hey, what about Adrian Peterson? Where's he going to go?
I don't know. I'm hoping he goes to the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan personally, but I think he would be good in that system, kind of behind Zeke there. I think he could really succeed with them. But I'm excited wherever he goes. I think it'll be fun to see.
I know we get to watch him a lot more here with with Dallas being close
right.
and everything. So that would be good for Sooners fans, obviously, to watch him. So.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, for watching Big Friday Sports today. Make sure to watch OU Nightly Monday at 4:30 with a recap of this weekend's action.
Have a good evening.
Good night.